Today, let's talk about The Richest Man in Babylon. That title sounds familiar, right? Yes, that's a book written by Clason. Earlier this year, I started reading that book, and the book is written majorly for everyone, whether you're made or you're on your way onto becoming made. Whether you're trying to find your way around wealth, you need to get your hands on that book. This is not a spoiler alert. I'll just share some pointers that I feel would be helpful for anyone that comes across this video. I know you've heard about Babylon. It was a city that used to be located in the modern day Iraq, and it was founded in 3rd millennium BC. If you've heard of King Nebuchadnezzar in the Bible, he happens to be one of the rulers that existed during the existence of Babylon. To paint a picture of what Babylon was, just look at the United States, the most powerful country in the world. Look at how huge they are, what they've achieved, what they stand for. That was what Babylon was during its time. Babylon was a force to reckon with. When it came to wealth, when it came to gold, when it came to wealth creation, Babylon had everything. What's the book about, you might want to ask? The book is majorly about the art of wealth creation. There was a time where the king was worried that many of their people are not wealthy, and the chancellor advised the king that the wealth is now concentrated in the hands of just a few people. And the king was curious. Why is this? He said, because they've mastered the art and the principle of wealth creation, of wealth preservation, of wealth replication. The king now went further and asked, so currently, who is the wealthiest person in the whole of Babylon? And the chancellor gave him the person's name. And the king said, I would like to meet him. Maybe we can work something out and see if we can help the struggling people of our country. And that was what happened. They called this man, and he was willing to share his knowledge. Right? Because what does it profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul in the process, or is unable to replicate? The level at which you are able to replicate your success determines or tells how really successful and secured you are. Because once you know how to do something, no one can take away that skill away from you. So you can always replicate your success wherever you find yourself. So he shared 7 principles, which are called the 7 cures of a lean purse. And I would just share 3 of them with you briefly. The first one is start thy purse to fattening. Before he started teaching, they gathered about 100 people. The plan was to teach the 100, and the 100 would teach others. Before he started giving them the cures, he asked what each of them did for a living. And they all told him their various professions. So he said, fine, so you have something doing. That is the foundation, that is the basis. So whatever your hand findeth, do it. Do it with all thy might. Don't say what you're doing is little. Don't say what you're doing cannot get you anywhere or cannot yield anything. He asked them what they were doing. Some said they were fishermen. Some said they were into construction. They were into mining. They just mentioned all their professions that, back then. And he said, fine, okay, we can start from there. So the first principle, start thy purse to fattening. What he was trying to teach them there was the principle of paying yourself. From whatever you earn, you need to pay yourself 1/10 of it. If you are earning 10, remove 1 for yourself. That 1 you keep for yourself. Today you keep 1. Tomorrow you make 10, you keep 1. That's 2. It would give you an aura. It will give you a confidence. It will give you assurance that you can create something. Before you know it, it will start multiplying. There's a principle behind it. It is not the amount. He said, don't look at the amount. There's a principle behind it that if well put to use, that money would multiply. So there's a principle behind it. You need to start first. You need to get that right. All right. So they established the first cure. And they moved over to the second cure. Control the expenditure. We all know what this means. We don't need to gloss over it. Spend less than you earn. This principle cannot be overemphasized. You cannot afford to spend more than you earn. You can't do that. It doesn't work that way. You need to reevaluate your expenses. There are some unnecessary things that you carry out every month, you need to reevaluate this. There was a time I observed that whenever I'm paid at the end of the month, between the end of the month and the first week, I would have series of requests, series of expenses that I became fixated until I realized that it was a problem and I had to shelve them, cut them off. That was when I started having a, relief and confidence that I was on top of it. So you need to reassess your expenses. There are some things you can do without. True, yeah, you can do without some things. You need to ask yourself those questions so you can afford to save more. The more you save, the better. And the third principle, which is make thy gold multiply. Even before he started listing these cures, there were people that came to this particular person to seek his advice on, come, we are friends, we grew up together, we started together, we walked the streets together. How come you're better off than us today? Is there something you're doing that we're not doing? And he went about this in a different conversation, not even listing the principles the way he intended to from subsequent chapters. He explained to them about paying yourself, saving a little, and guess what? Let your money work for you. Let your money serve as a slave for you. Let your money give birth to children, and the children would also work for you. In the modern world, it's called savings. In the modern world, it's called investments. These principles are cast in stone. If you ask the most successful people today, they will tell you they started putting their money to work. It has to work. If you watch my previous video, you would see that I mentioned the principle of allowing your money to work for you. There are no two ways about it. Wealth creation doesn't happen overnight. It requires hard work, intentionality. It requires a plan. What is your plan? These are just 3 cures for how to cure a lean purse. There are still 4 others in the book that I would not mention because it is also good for you to discover these things yourself. But the principles are all the same. No matter how little you are earning, pay yourself 1/10. Start with 1/10. The force behind it would give you a confidence that you're doing something right. It is the same principle that the rich apply. So don't limit yourself. Don't belittle yourself and think that it is the volume of money that will determine the speed of your success. No, it is the effort you put into it that would bring opportunities, and you would have the courage to say, because I have something saved up or paid up for myself, I can use this money to invest in something and it will start working or yielding for me. On this journey, we have to move together. Don't think your space is small. Don't think the position you are in cannot bring in anything for you. No. As we continue this, we'll be unveiling different avenues that we can make our future better. We can make our lives make a sense, make meaning. And another thing I took away from the book is that nothing lasts forever. Babylon was the Babylon. Babylon was huge. Babylon had streets made of gold. Babylon had castle inside castle. The walls were one of the outstanding wonders of Babylon. They were as high as 50 to 60 feet. They were so spectacular that they were compared to the pyramids of Egypt by early writers. Babylon was a beauty to behold. But today, it doesn't exist. With all the world, the richest people, their families, everything gone with history. So in your pursuits, remember that nothing lasts forever. If you can, grab The Richest Man in Babylon. Just do a little research about what this whole thing is about. I believe in you, and I'll see you on the next one. All right? Easy here. Bye.